This is the Wizard News.
Fly me to the moon and let me play among the stars. Let me know what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, oh my.
The loss of local newspapers accelerated in 2023 to an average of 2.5 per week, leaving more than 200 counties as news deserts, and meaning that more than half of all U.S. counties now have limited access to reliable local news and information. Researchers at the Medill School of Journalism, Media, Integrated Marketing Communications at Northwestern University have found. Another 228 counties are at high risk of losing local news. In creating a watch list, Medill researchers and data scientists applied the characteristics of current news deserts to counties with only one news source. Medill's annual State of Local News Project report counts about 550 digital-only local news outlets, 700 ethnic media organizations, and 225 public broadcasting stations producing original local news. Most of the digital-only startups are based in metro areas, exacerbating the divide in America between news haves and have-nots. The State of Local News Project and Microsoft generated a bright spots map showing all local news startups in the U.S. as they have appeared over the past 5 years. The map also highlights 17 local news outlets, both startups and legacy organizations, with promising new business models for the future. The significant loss of local news outlets in poorer and underserved communities poses a crisis for our democracy, said Medill visiting professor Penny Abernathy, a co-author of this year's report, who has been studying local news deserts for more than a decade. Of the 3,143 counties in the U.S., more than half, or 1,766, have either no local news source or only one remaining outlet, typically a weekly newspaper. The loss of local newspapers ticked higher in 2023 to an average of 2.5 per week, up from 2 per week in 2022. Since 2005, the U.S. has lost nearly 2,900 newspapers. The nation is on pace to lose 1/3 of all its newspapers by the end of 2024. There are about 6,000 newspapers remaining, the vast majority of which are weeklies. The country has lost almost 2/3 of its newspaper journalists, or 43,000, during that same time. Most of those journalists were employed by large metro and regional newspapers. There are about 550 digital-only local news sites, many of which launched in the past decade, but they are mostly clustered in metro areas. In the past 5 years, the number of local digital startups has roughly equaled the number that shuttered. based on the demographics and economics of current news desert counties. Medill's modeling estimates that 228 counties are at an elevated risk of becoming news deserts in the next 5 years. Most of those watch list counties are located in high poverty areas in the South and Midwest, and many serve communities with significant African American, Hispanic, and Native American populations. Tim Franklin, who directs the Medill Local News Initiative and serves as the John M. Mutz Chair in Local News, said, "This year's report provides some optimism for the future." With our Bright Spots map, we're able to highlight where local news growth has occurred, and we profiled in detail 17 news outlets that are providing inspiration through new models for news. Source: Northwestern Medill, November 16th, 2023.